Hi there, welcome to the Green Umbrella live lunch. I can't believe it's Thursday again already. It's like, feels like it was only like yesterday, feels like it was this morning that we did this last time. We have got the amazing Kate O'Neill with us today. How very exciting.
I'm so excited to be on the show.
Oh man. And you know, I planned nothing. Like, we're just gonna hang out for an hour. Like, I've got no specific questions I'm gonna ask you, nothing like that. We'll just chat and go with it, because that's what we do. And we don't get to hang out enough. Before we get into it all though, obviously a lot of my connections are on LinkedIn, are in the recruitment world. They'll probably know who you are, but this is going out on YouTube, Facebook as well. And on those platforms, our audience is slightly different outside of the recruitment world. So just give us the intro. Give us a story. Like, how the hell have you ended, what do you do, and how the hell have you ended up doing it?
Okay, right. Let's try and condense this then. So what do I do? So I'm a coach and a trainer and a behavioural profiling specialist for the recruitment industry. And recruitment's like my life. I love it. So I've been doing it for nearly 12 years. And I accidentally got into recruitment, which I think most people around our age did. Like, no one was like, when I grow up, I want to be a recruitment consultant.
I love that you said our age, because, yeah, we're not the same age.
You know what I mean? Not, well, I know I look 18, but I'm not 18. I'm nearly 27. No, I'm not. I'm 35. So
God,
I.
So you two are about the same age.
Yeah. So I just fell into it and loved it. And then I worked for the same agency for most of my consultant career. I think I was there for like nearly 7 years. And I've been a consultant, a manager. I was running a division. I did graduate recruitment in the pharmaceutical industry, sales, commercial recruitment, loved it. And yeah, that's kind of brought me to where I am today, really.
Amazing.
That's it.
Awesome. So, sales, right? So I've literally, and you don't know this because Kate and I were in the green room before. I just got off a call with someone. I was like basically saying, I need this information so we can put your like, understand what marketing needs to do. To understand what marketing needs to do, we've got to understand what your sales pipeline needs to look like, what we should be aiming for. Do you find that people look at it that way, right? Or do people still look at it as two separate things? Is it still disconnected in your world? Because I still feel
sales
like
marketing.
Yeah, I still feel like people are not looking at it as a joined up process still.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like sometimes I'm bang. Can I just check? Am I allowed to swear on the show?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just wanted to check whether I needed filtered Kate or absolutely normal Kate. That is fine. I bang my head against a brick wall with everybody that I work with, because they're so, on the most part, so resistant to marketing, like the brand stuff, which I heavily invest in with my own business. So I know it works because I do it myself, so, and they just don't get how the two link and the importance of building up, like, right, who's your market? How are you going to show up in their world and get across what you do and how you do it and build familiarity, because it makes your sales easier. Like, I can ring an agency owner and this has happened to me, that I have never ever spoken before, and straight away it's like they know me. How's the gym or whatever, and it's like, they take my call and I could ask for a meeting straight away and I'll probably get it. So I'm making my life easier, but yeah, I think they just disconnect it, like, too much.
I always think, like, when, like, marketing's job is not to put sales out of the business, right? But if marketing is done right, what happens? You don't have a team of salespeople anymore. You have a team of closers. That's the difference. If marketing's doing its job right, the business just needs to be closed.
And have conversations. So I can't remember who said this now. It might be a talk I went to at the Team Expo in June, that like, a lot of people class sales as like all the email marketing campaigns they do. Like, honestly, that I want to burst into tears when people are like, oh, for our BD we just do email marketing campaigns. That's marketing. That's not sales. you're running away from the sales activity you should be doing. Sales is like building relationships, speaking to people, networking. So if you are doing the marketing right, you are going to be able to speak to more people. You're getting your name out there more. And in terms of incoming, which is the dream, isn't it? We can't solely rely on it, but we want incoming. You're going to get more incoming from being out there more. So yeah, the two for me like are intertwined.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting you saying that about the incoming, the inbound stuff. I think that it's not just the recruitment world. It's like every industry that I have contact with, like 2020 through to 22. It was like everyone was surviving on inbound inquiries. They didn't need to do outbound sales. And then the last couple of years have been so tricky, and they've either forgotten how to, or they've never had to do it. And so they're terrified of picking up the phone.
So many people joined sales, not just recruitment, in 2020, that COVID period. So they thought, oh, woohoo, this is what it's like. Clients just skip through the door to you. And it's like, that's not what it is. I get like when you're busy, there's that tendency to think, I don't need to do BD. And I've made this mistake before with my own business, even though you don't always practice what you preach. But I think like, however busy you are, even if you make one call a week, or you just, I don't know, add a company to your target list, you should never stop doing BD.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have to admit, I don't enjoy the BD stuff. I enjoy the marketing stuff. Of course I do. I don't enjoy the BD stuff. And so there are like, there's times where I say to Kim, right, I need some accountability right now, because like I've got exciting stuff that I love to do, and I have to send X amount of messages a day. I have to, this week the focus is like, where's everything in the funnel, and go and do some research and find some new targets. But it's I guess, Kim, it's only recently you've been more involved in that process, isn't it, in terms of sort of getting business in?
I'm not going to lie to you, Christina, when you used to say to me, right, we'll do a webinar, right, there's everybody that's been on it, ring them. I was like, what? Speak to a human? You joke it? Like, for me, I find it really difficult, because I get in my own head, and I don't want to sound like one of those people that are trying to sell you double glazing or something. So for me, that's really difficult. Like, I can chat bollocks all day long online, as you know, Kate. But when it comes to like the actual, like when I have to be a proper adult and well profesh, I get like really self-conscious. So what tips would you have? Because that's my biggest block.
I think there's like this like assumption that you've got to ring up and be like, good afternoon, my name is Kim, I'm calling from Greece. You don't need to be like that anymore. It's whatever your market is. So I do train some people that are like C-suite recruiters, and initially they do have to be quite formal, and this is where the behavioural stuff comes in. But sometimes, like, I'm speaking to agency owners, so if I'm too formal and salesy, they're going to be like, sorry, who are you? So I'm better just being myself. And that would be the same for you, Kim. Like, that people will see you online, like they'll just want you to ring and be you and be chatty. So I think sometimes it's getting that out of your head. But like, honestly, the mindset stuff, even I still get nervous sometimes to ring people. And I just have to kind of like, sometimes you're almost telling yourself, like, what if they say this? What if they say that? Unless it's a fact, I'm like, right, well, that's a load of shit, so don't listen to that. But what if they said yes? What if they talk to me? I'll be buzzing after it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just ring him. And I just get up and walk around. I can't be sat like still here. Sometimes I'll just take my phone while it's ringing. When it's ringing and you're like,
don't answer,
just get up and walk around.
That standing, walking around completely changes your state, completely changes your energy. What's really funny is, having heard Kim making these calls, it is like she's great, and
I can imagine you just being a natural at it.
Yeah, I'm better face to face. I think, like at the weekend, I did an event with a friend of mine, and it's so easy face to face. I'm like, when I'm at expo and stuff, Like, I'm like a used car salesman. I feel like I'm quite good at that bit. But on a phone, I'm like, oh, it's really weird.
It's because you don't have the body language, the eye contact.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the same. I love face to face. I just like Zoom meetings, you know, when you've got like at least some eye contact there as well. But yeah, think when you know you're getting in your head, sometimes as well, it's like, right, I'm just gonna, for me, it's leaving this room. So sometimes if I'm like really in my own head, I'll like go downstairs, make a drink, or I'll be, sometimes I've just got to have the conversation with my head because I can be really hard on myself. So it's like, stop trying to be a perfectionist. You don't know the outcome of what you're about to do. So unless you do it, you're not going to find out.
Yeah.
And what evidence have you got? When have you ever rang somebody and they've been like, who the hell are you? Or I hate Kate O'Neill. Leave me alone. Like, never. So
Yeah.
just ring.
Yeah.
And if it happens, it'll be a funny story.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. Yeah.
They can do a video about for marketing content. There we go.
There
Absolutely.
we go.
And personality profiling stuff. So you're a disc specialist, aren't you? That's your poison of
I'm like
choice.
obsessed with it. Yeah.
So
like
I've
profiled somebody on a first date before.
So
I was going to say we should have done it.
What's a disc? What did you say?
It's like have you ever done any personality profiling tests or quizzes? Like what's
I tried
some of
to,
the other
Kate,
ones?
the 6 minute, what was the thing? The
16 personalities.
Oh, it was just too long for me. I haven't got the brain span. That's my personality. It's got to be quick. Don't give me forms upon forms because I'm not interested.
No, I'm the same. I'm like, get it done in the moment. If I go on and I skim read. Like, the mad thing is, my own profile, I've never read word for word. Bullet points, if it's more than bullet points, skim read. Yeah, I'll get the gist of it. Job done. I'm like, times of the essence. Now. Yesterday. Yeah, that's me as well. So I just whizzed my way through it. It's not long, a disc one. It doesn't take long.
Okay.
We should have got you to profile both of us and then have the conversation. Now we did. I had my like really early on when we started this.
You've
I had
done
my
yours
insights
before, haven't you?
Yeah, we talked about it and I tried looking for the results and I couldn't find them. But to be honest, that's about 3 years ago, so it's probably worth doing it.
Yeah. I do mine every year, just to check if there's any changes. But I'm my own person. I do mine based on the business, and because I'm on my own, doesn't really. You tend to find if you're in a business with other people, maybe your roles change. But you can do. I've got friends that are relationship coaches. They use DISC. They coaches in primary schools, and they use it because you can get one for kids where it's like a different questions. So you can do it based on you could be different in different environments.
So if you were gonna because you know us both pretty well, so what would you predict?
So I think Kim is, and this won't mean anything to you, Kim, probably at the moment, but I think you're an ID. So I's are very like glass half full, very good communication skills, love fun, variation, being around people. They need to like be with people. So like not like, you know, like you said, the phone, like you like to be in a room with people. They're normally quite persuasive, like they'll get their own way without you even knowing they've got their own way. But they are they can get quite distracted. So if something new and shiny comes into your inbox or you get asked to do it, you're like, oh, I'll do that instead. And then you don't finish what you were doing a minute ago. And then the D part is like fast paced. They say it like it is, quite this would be the second one for me, this word. They're not afraid of like being asked to lead things. You know, they're quite happy to do that. Also like variation, quite goal driven, motivated. So I would, at a guess, you might even have some S in there. S is a very caring, put other people first, team players. You can be 2 or 3, but in that all, I would think I would be 100% the top. Maybe ISD, at a guess.
Yeah, I think ISD.
Yeah. I think, Christina, for you, maybe D might be the top one. I think you've got some S in your profile, 100%, because you're also somebody that's very, whenever I talk to you, you're very like people focused. And I think, and you do work well in a team. So normally that means you've got some S in there. But I do think you've got that. You've definitely got that. Well, you run a business, and usually we do have that D part in our profile. Like, we take risks, not afraid to take on challenges. You're good at solving problems, like having goals, things to work to. These are quite creative in terms of, like, like business ideas and stuff like that. Like, they'll be like, oh, that I'm going to do, and they'll do it as well. Whereas I's are creative, and they won't also always execute it. Say that again.
Yeah. I say I have the occasional idea, don't I, Kim?
When you say I get distracted, Kate, and it's like, oh, there's a new thing to work on, that's not distraction. That's just Christina's management style. Right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I'm just like, but that's how I live. To be fair,
you could even be you could be a DI, really, because there could be that mix of, you are like that, like, yes, task orientated. I've got an idea. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But then you've got that part of you as well that's got all the eyes. Like, the way I like to describe them is they're so imaginative. Like, everything is possible. So they come up with all these ideas, and they're great at getting people on board with them. But then it's like, okay, well, I need you to do it for me now, because I'm going to go and do something else. Whereas a D will be like, I'm just going to do it, and probably don't even mind doing it on their own. So I'm very like that. A lot of people I train can't believe I haven't got any I in my profile, but I adapt because I know what I need to be for people. But a lot of the things that I do on my own. Go to the gym on my own. I live on my own. My business is on my own. I'm very like, if I want to do something, I don't let anyone stop me doing it. I'll just do it.
Power.
I think this is the thing. This is why I think I do need to do it again, because that I got an idea, and I needed to learn the tech. I needed to correct, because I got as much fulfillment, not just from the ideation, but from the activation of it as well. Yeah. And I had to almost train myself out of that, which is where I've become like, I've had the idea, I can see how it will work, right? Delegate. Yeah. And I really
you adapt to your environment, don't you?
But I think I've almost gone the other way. And now it's like the last couple of years, or, living on my own. I was talking to a friend the other day, and we go to the same gym, and we've just never, like, I've only been going to this place for the last couple of months, and we didn't realize we were both using the same gym. And I said, and it's, it's a really good friend. And I said to them, like, to be fair, if I see you in there, I'm probably not going to talk to you.
Like, people think I'm a bitch in my gym. I've been going there for 10 years since it opened. I have friends in the gym, but I don't train with them. I train on my own. I might occasionally do some stuff with my like coaching training group. But I go in because my face naturally looks quite moody, because I've got quite strong feature, and this is a D quality. Ds can look very stern, especially when we're listening to people. We tend to have quite strong features. So it doesn't mean that we're moody. We're just very focused in the zone. So when I go to the gym, I'm going to the gym to train. So I'm not walking around smiling at people.
Yeah,
I'm not very approachable.
Yeah.
I am not approachable. So I'll see people on a night out, like in my local town, from the gym, and they'll have the courage to speak to me after a drink then. And they're like, oh, I never want to come up to you in the gym. So but I can't help it. It's just my face. Do you know what I mean? I just can't.
See, I was really terrified of you, Kate. I'm not going to lie. I thought, this woman is powerful. I was terrified of you. I'm not joking. I was like, and now that we talk quite a lot, I'm like, I'm friends with Kate O'Neill. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Because you give off an element. One of my friends said to me
today.
Go on.
Genuinely, right? He came around to do my boiler service, and he was like, You want to find a husband? You do, Kate. I was like, yeah, thanks for that. I do realise that. Thing is, though, you said you've got a very moody face. Lovely girl you are. I know you've got a sense of humour, but moody face. You want to do something about that? I was like, right, yeah, I'll just go down the local clinic and get a face transplant, shall I? But I know it's true. I don't mean to come across as scary, and I almost don't like it when people say like, oh, I feel awful, but
I wouldn't say scary. I would just say, because you give off a sense of you're powerful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's scary. I think it's more like fucking hell, you've got like, she
Do you
knows her
know,
shit.
I have exactly the same thing, Kate, and I know exactly what you mean about it. Actually, you know, people get to know you and like your mates, and all of a sudden they tell you that when they first met you, they were like in a mess because they were so terrified of speaking to you, and they didn't speak to you for 6 months because they thought you were so scary and all this. It hurts. Like it hurts.
Do you find you overcompensate then? Because I do. You know, when you meet people, I'm like trying to almost sometimes trying to prove that I'm a nice person. Do you know what I mean?
I think I went through that phase.
Yeah.
And it's a I think I went through that phase. And then I think that the last couple of years, I've become really wary. You know, we all have masculine and feminine within us. And I've always been very masculine first. So I've worked quite a lot on bringing my feminine forward.
I find that really difficult, though. I try so hard.
It's a challenge. It's an absolute challenge. It really, really is. I think the key thing for me was that, and again, it goes down to it comes back to what you were describing with DISC. So masculine and feminine, if you think about it, like relationships, right? Men and women. Okay. Men want to fix the problem. Like, tell me what's wrong, I'll fix it. Women don't want it fixed. They want to talk about it. They want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I guess I've probably the biggest thing for me is sometimes I'm talking to people and I know what I want to say and I'm like, no. That there's an internal dialogue going on, going like, that's fixing it. Shut up and listen. Yeah. And I think that in itself has just allowed me to sit more comfortably in my feminine. And it's also, say it myself, turned me into quite a good coach. Because it's like keeping my mouth shut more rather than telling people this is how you fix it. It's allowed me to kind of listen and reflect and be able to ask them the questions so that they can find the solutions themselves.
I don't find it affects me too much when I'm coaching. It's more, I think, and we can probably all three of us relate to this, right? Because I do everything in my life, so the masculine energy is the doing, the action. I haven't got anyone else to take the bins out for me. I haven't got anyone else to run my business. I haven't got anyone else to drive me where, like, everything in my life has to be done by me. So I find it quite hard to receive. So like Joe Phillips came to stay with me, right, in June, I think it was. And bless her, like she was like, I'll do the washing up. And it was, do you know how difficult that was to let somebody do the washing up for me? Really hard. And then I was watching her like, she's not doing it right. Like it was killing me. But then once I relaxed into it, I was like, this is so nice. Like she rang a hotel, the hotel we went to for the team conference. I left my laptop charger and they weren't sorting it for me. She was like, I'll ring him. Just somebody sorting it for me. I was like, I feel like living like a queen just because somebody's done the washing up a couple of times for me.
Again, it's that
I'm not used to receiving.
Being looked after. Yeah, allowing someone to look after you is really tough.
Yeah, see, I will look after everybody else, but if someone says like, oh, like Jess was like, I'm taking you out for a surprise, I was like, no. Like the panic was just
I don't like surprises.
Do not like, I don't know what you're going to get me to do. I said to her, I don't know what it is, but I don't want to be touched. Okay. And I don't want people near. Like, but it was a Miller and Carter, and it was lovely, and we had a great time. But like, and even when the bill was coming, she was like, no, and I was like, it makes me feel.
Oh, I find that uncomfortable.
No. Oh, it makes me feel sick.
Hate it. It makes you feel sick.
Yeah. It's just I'm more of a give.
I've got this really, it's because I got called selfish as a kid, right? So I've got this thing. I hate people thinking I'm tight with money or selfish. So anywhere you go out with friends, like I hate people, you know, like you go out with something they offer to pay. I feel like, oh my God, if I don't, I need to offer to pay. Like, I feel like I don't want them to think that I'm just take. Hate it.
I'm always the first to offer. I'm like, no, it's all right. I'll get it. I've only got 3p in the bank. I'll get it. Don't worry. because I
Not
just
me.
I have to be that person, like, to look after everyone, and it's just a lot.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think as well, it's when you are a powerful character, you know, like Kim, you've got absolute presence. You know, that's why your profile is just accelerating the way that it is at the minute in terms of the recruitment world and like everything you're doing on LinkedIn. But you know, Kate and I as well, as female business owners, and the speaking that we do, it's like we have a powerful presence. Sometimes when you're female and you have a powerful presence, you get given all these titles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is that it's actually not us, it's other people's insecurities playing out sometimes. That's when it gets really challenging. That I think
People's
that's
view
almost,
of the world and view of you, which is
yeah,
projecting their shit on you, basically. Yeah, intimidating. I get quite, but it's,
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult. Like, I think my mum said it in the meaning well, but I remember it really pissing me off earlier this year. Like, she was like, you know, it is very intimidating for men, you know, like all these high rocks pictures and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, sorry, but tough shit, 'cause that's who I am.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not going to change the sport I do, or like, if men find that too much of an ego like dent, then
you're not the one, hon.
sorry. But I think we also get that a lot as women, don't we? About how don't be too intimidating, don't be too much, but don't be too little. Don't be a
Yeah.
walkover, but you can't be too much. And it's like, I don't think any men get told not to be intimidating and powerful. Not
Yeah.
really.
No, not at all.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
And it's like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't class myself as a feminist. Like, we're having this conversation, I wouldn't class myself as being like a, you know, yeah, I'm a feminist. Definitely not. But it is really interesting when you see sort of interactions with people. There's someone I do some work with at the minute, and I had some feedback from someone in his team, because they're basically, I've gotten to know his team really well, but I've not gotten to know him as well. And when I first met him was about 4 or 5 years ago. And like I said, completely different, like my situation, everything. I was a completely different person then to how I am now. Obviously, the team know the me of the last sort of 2-3 years. And he said, oh, no, Christina can't do that role. She's not approachable. And the team are like, what are you talking about? But this is someone who is, I think when I first met him, he's very masculine. And physically as well, he's quite could be intimidating appearance wise. So I think when I first met him, I was a bit, again, my masculine was right there, you know, square shoulders, like, you know, tall as I can be, all that kind of thing. So there are times where we don't do ourselves any favors, but it's really hard to undo that. You know, and it's that when those sort of judgments essentially are, you know, that first impression is made, it is hard to sort of take back. So yeah, it's all really interesting. Okay, so you mentioned high rocks.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about
My
that.
life.
So this is the interesting thing. Like 12 months ago, 18 months ago, I would say I'd not heard about it at all. 12
I
months
probably
ago,
hadn't either.
Yeah, 12 months ago, there was like 1 or 2 people they would go into a competition or so. And I was like, what's that about? Now it's freaking everywhere. Everywhere. Like, I'm in a WhatsApp group. I think there's
you struggle to get a ticket. Struggle to get a ticket in the UK unless you're with an affiliated gym. That's why I've been doing more abroad. It's gone massive.
So tell us, so what is it? Like, I've seen the photos, I've seen the videos, but what is it?
So it's a new sport, but it's an endurance sport. AKA it means that it's horrifically painful, basically. So the way it's an event, and it's almost like a course in a way. and you're timed. So you've got, it looks like you've got a tag on your ankle basically, but you're being timed on everything. So it's all about doing it as fast as you can. So it's 8 1K runs. In between each 1K run, you have 8 stations. So the first thing you do is run, and then the first station is a 1K ski. So the skier, so you basically, it's the one where you're pulling it down with your arms, then you run again. Then the second station after a run is you've got to push a sled 180 meters. For me, it's got 108K on. I'm 9 stone, so it's, you know, quite heavy. And then you run again. Then you do a sled pull, which I think is 78K. You've got to pull on the sled. Then you run again. Then you do a 1K row. Yeah, 1K row. Then you run again. Then you do 100 meters burpee broad jumps. Run again. 100 meters farmer's carry with 2 20K kettlebells, and you run again. How many am I on? I feel like I'm forgetting something. You finish on 70 wall balls with a 4K wall ball. Sandbag lunges. You've got to do 100 meters of sandbag lunges with a 10K sandbag on your back. So you are at maximum heart rate the whole time, because you've got people screaming. There's loud music, right, for starters. There's crowd, and the spectators are like this far away from you sometimes.
Wow.
Really close. So you've got people like, rah! Like if you don't know anybody. Like my first race, I didn't know anyone there. I did it on my own in Manchester. The adrenaline rush, because I've always wanted to be a professional athlete. So you feel really like, oh my God, I've made it. Like, you know, it's like people are screaming for you. And it is hard. Like there's so many points where you're like, why am I doing this? You've got a dry mouth the whole time. You can't swallow. Like you've got to keep going for an hour. Well, it takes me about an hour and 20 minutes. So it's just like, you've just got, it's mindset. This is why I love it. It's all head strength.
Yeah. Do you have to be at a certain level of fitness to qualify to take part?
You don't have to qualify. This is what I love about it. Anybody can do it. So there's people that are doing it for charity that walk some of it. Like you can take as long as it takes. So I think one woman in Malaga where I last raced, she took 3 hours to do it. She just did it for charity. Like there's people there doing it like me that are there to race and get a time. When you get to a certain level, you can enter the pro race. So all the weights and the reps go up. And then there's even elites. There's elite athletes that sponsored, like the Elite 15. They're all like sponsored by Puma and whatever else. I mean, they're doing it in like serious times, like 55 minutes.
Jesus.
They are running, like one of the boys in my training group, Mikey, he will do it, and we're all doing it in Birmingham, end of October. He'll do a sub 1 hour high rocks. He's fast. It's all about it's about use the stations as active rest, run as fast as you can.
Active rest.
It is the pain cave. Like this, what I love is the mindset challenge a bit.
Yeah. With the stuff that I'm doing with Jess, there's a group of them doing it, and they're like, do you want to do it? Absolutely not. No, not yet. We're not that far. Do you know what I mean? Like, just...
You'd love it.
The
buzz on the day, you cannot beat it.
I said I couldn't do it because obviously I do the social media, so somebody's got to take the content. So I'll sit out on this one. But I am doing a wolf run in September.
I'll volunteer. I'll do the socials.
Yeah, I am doing a wolf run in September.
Well, actually, you don't need to, Kim, because there's professional photographers there, and you can buy the photos. That's where I get all my photos from.
Wow, they're not as good as me, but yeah, we're doing a wolf run in September, and all I can think is, how on earth am I going to do that when I wear glasses? Because I'm just going to have mud and crap. A wolf run. So it's like an obstacle course, but it's like you jump in, up, down obstacles in the mud, like...
Oh, I hate that. Yeah. I've done one of those before. I'm like a fair weather. Don't want to get my trainers dirty. Sorry.
Well, you know how I feel about my trainers. So I don't really know what I'm going to do.
You need like windscreen wipers for your glasses, don't you?
That's it.
We'll get some of those special goggles.
Oh, yeah. But
then, I mean, I was going to say I look like a tit, but I've recently wore a swimming cap, so I don't think it gets any worse than that, does it?
You pulled that swimming cap off.
I know, right? My DMs have not stopped.
Right. Mindset. So High Rocks mindset. How does that help you in business?
I think because you're like I don't think there's ever a point, and this is what I'm learning. So I'm nearly at year 4, right? There's never a point where you've like cracked it and everything's easy. There's always you elevate, there's always new challenges, there's always something else to improve or work on. Like different things become difficult, right? And I think relating it to a High Rocks race, and I'm sure we can all relate. There's been times in my business where like it's not enjoyable, like it's hard, like it's really, really hard. And how am I going to pay my bills next month? Or like, you know, it's just difficult. You're like pulled from pillar to post, and you've just got to like, it's remembering this will pass. So it's like in the High Rocks race. Yeah, I feel like I want to die right now, but it's going to pass. Like give me another however long I've got left, and then the buzz. Like when you finish, like I literally want to cry. So if I get a PB, it's like, and you've got your team there, and it's like if you when you get through a difficult period in your business, or any recruiters, you know, when you get maybe through a dip, you can't beat that buzz. Like you can't. So it's reminding you like the pain doesn't last. Like not being dramatic using the word pain, but it, you know, it like I think it's just, and also the work that goes into things. Like I can't just turn up at, you know, I haven't just turned up at a High Rocks race and done it. Like I put a lot of training into what I do, and I'm in the gym for 2 hours sometimes, and it's hard. Like if my coach walks in, I want to punch him in the face because it's that hard. But that's same as business. Like you have to put people. I think seriously, some people I meet are like, "Oh, you've got a business. It must be so easy. You get all the time off and the holidays you want." No, I fucking don't. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I never have a break. And I love it to pieces. I seriously do. But it's so hard. And I think like that's what this teaches you is that, you know, this is what hard feels like. And I say this to everyone I train as well. Did you think recruitment would be easy? No. This is what hard feels like. And you've just got to, I think that you've then got to have those mindset coping mechanisms for when it does get hard, because it will, to get through them. So I think for me, sport in general is there's a massive transfer to business, any sales jobs, anything like that. Huge like way that you can relate it.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting you say that, because obviously on LinkedIn now, like every other post is, you know, a photo of someone on a podium, and you know what, you know, this gold medal means this in business and leadership, and I'm kind of tired of seeing them. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
there's a lot. I think there's a lot of us that are into our fitness and our health and sporty in our world, naturally. I try not to make it all about that on my posts. I like to do a variety because people will get sick of it. But sometimes I think like there's a difference. And you probably all know this. You know when you're drawn to post about something because there's a genuine story behind it or message?
Yeah.
I feel like when it's forced, like, oh, I need to come up with a really good post today. And you know, when it's more kind of like you're clutching at straws for something, and then maybe it's not got that genuine story.
Yeah.
We've all seen them, haven't we? We're like, oh, you've related like, I don't know, your dog winning a race to something like you're scrambling there. But if there's this real message and story, or sometimes it doesn't need to be a story behind it. Like I posted on Monday, did this event at the weekend with a load of blokes. It was really hard. How was your weekend? I didn't go, and that's taught me about this in business. You don't always need to relate it to that, do you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there is a lot of it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are huge lessons that come from elite sport into entrepreneurship, essentially.
Taking risks, big one.
Yeah, absolutely. The you know, you know, what happens after you've won the gold medal? What happens after you know, elite sportsmanship? Some of the stories you hear about once they've then had to leave their sport, and it's like, what happens next is the same as that CEO who's they launched a business, grew it, they've now exited, and it's like day one, and they're like, okay, what am I going to do now? You know,
Well,
the
I find that
feeling of
difficult
loss and
now.
grief.
I struggle. I've reckoned, actually, without being cringe, High Rocks made me realise this about myself. So after a race, I'm depressed. Like the happiness, I'm in the moment. Woohoo! I've got a PB. You celebrate with the team. The next day, it's like, ah. And I get like it with my business. So maybe I do a big project with a consultancy, an agency, and it finishes. Or I tell you what, is when I win a client, the rush of it, the build up, I love. I win them, I sign them, the training's booked in, and I'm like, what now?
Yeah.
I get a big tattoo. I enjoy the tattoo. After it's done, I'm like, boring.
It is like, now what? I get it after events as well. Yeah. You know, it's and this is where you really need like your mindset to kick in. You know, this is why doing so much work around mindset is so important, because you've got to be able to catch yourself in those moments as well.
Yeah.
And if you catch yourself, you can course correct quite quickly. If you don't catch yourself, you stay there or you keep going down, and that's when it really starts to affect business. This is where we see people where they, you know, we were talking about someone earlier, and you know, they've massive sales in their business, amazing, everything's great, but then the sales activity stopped, and then things drop off, and it's like, oh shit, like what? And so caught up in, sometimes you get so caught up in the like, oh crap, what we're going to do, that you're too busy spending your time going, oh crap, what we're going to do, instead of taking action.
It spirals then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's easy to do. We all do it.
Yeah, like I said, it's having the mindset in place to be able to catch you. So other than High Rock, so like Kate, you and I have talked to the nth degree about mindset from different angles. It's like whenever we catch up, there's always like the call, and then probably about another half hour us talking about mindset stuff and different books we've read and stuff like that. So like for you, what's the outside of High Rocks, what's the one thing that you do that really keeps your mindset where it needs to be?
It's my spirituality. Like 100%. And honestly, it gives me like so much purpose and meaning in my life. Like it gives me so much comfort, I would say. Because I do, and this is partly through choice, spend a lot of time on my own. I am a bit more of an introvert than people think I am. And sometimes I need that time on my own as well. And it's my it keeps me sane, and it helps me make sense of the world and get to where I want to get to in life. Just gives me it just makes me feel like everything's okay. I can't describe it.
What does spirituality mean for you? Because some people would take that in a religious context. Some people will take that in an energetic like there's lots of different ways of people understanding.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
So yeah, what does that mean for you?
My God is like the universe or spirit. Right, then that's the two ways I would know it. It's more the energy stuff, I suppose, if you want to think of it that way. I'm a Reiki healer, so I'm into Reiki. I'm just into energy, like there's different, working with the different chakras in my body. You know, feeding off my intuition. You know, I get very vivid, like dream. You know, I am a very intuitive person. Don't always listen to it, unfortunately. But the universe makes me listen to it. So if I'm not listening, things will happen to make me listen. But like I meditate a lot. do Reiki. I can self-heal, so I do Reiki on myself. I read a lot about it. I love to learn about it. I'm learning at the moment, or reading about like lunar living, so living with the cycles of the moon. Because obviously, since I've done my Reiki attunement, I am more sensitive now, even more to the energies out there. So, because we're 60% water as humans, we are governed a lot by the moon, despite what people think and say. So, I'm just trying to understand that a bit better. Like, why was I a psycho last week? That's why, So, just trying to understand. I'm all about understanding myself better, my real inner self, my inner being, and connecting with that, and being a better person, and being able to connect with people better, and understanding other people as well. So yeah, that is a bit that's what I mean by it, basically. So I suppose it is a religion, but it's not in some ways as well, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a belief in a higher power. But it's really interesting. So yeah, Paul's over on Facebook. You say it's all gone a bit woo. Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't care. This is real people having conversations.
And until you've done it, that's what you think. But when you start doing it, you just go, "Fucking hell, what a peaceful way of life!" Like, why wouldn't you?
Like, I can meditate for 2 hours.
I did Reiki on someone recently, and they were like, because I think they were almost a bit what's the word? Not that they didn't believe in it. I can't think of the word. They were kind of in the middle with it.
Yeah,
skeptical.
And afterwards, they were like, I can't even put into words what just happened to me. And I wasn't even touching them. Like Reiki, you don't even touch. It's all on energy. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I think, Kim, is that a lot of people comment on it without experiencing it. And I think when you experience it, you may still not be into it, but I think when you get into it and you start understanding it more, I suppose a lot of religion, it's the same way. It's so comforting. Like, it gives you some, I don't know, it's like having I feel like, I don't know, you've got like a support.
Be okay. Whatever it is, it's going to be all right.
Yeah. It's a way of living. It's a belief system, it's funny when you go from it's all woo to being skeptical, to being curious, to then starting to have some experiences, and you experience something and you think like, what the hell was that? And you're looking at the other people around you thinking, like, I daren't share because they'll all think I'm absolutely nuts. Like, if I share what I've just experienced, someone's coming with a white jacket. And then
I've got my people I know I can share with.
Yeah, you get to the point where you are brave enough to share because you're just so committed to it that you don't care. Like, bring me the white jacket, I'll have it, And it's like, and you share, and then all of a sudden everyone else starts as well, and you're like, oh my god, it's not like everyone's experience is very unique. But yeah, like I love the woo and the science and bringing them together.
Like epigenetics, I'm really into. Like Bruce Lipton. And that is science. When people try and tell me it's a load of shit, I'm like, it's fucking science. Go and read the books. Like, it's real. It's not made up. It's just the pharmaceutical companies don't want us. Might be getting a bit controversial here, but they don't. It's not beneficial for them to know about it. But let me tell you now, we could save the NHS, right? If we only used it for A&E and we tapped into epigenetics and natural healing, the Eastern medicine. It's worked for them. We would save the NHS, honestly.
And it's like, if you don't like, loads of people, like whether it's an Apple Watch, Garmin, whatever, something you bought off TikTok, a lot of people have got something on their wrist that will measure their heart rate.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, measure your heart rate and then go and do meditation.
I think we should take all of meditation.
Look what happens to your heart rate whilst you're in a meditation. If you
I should have started doing it years ago.
Yeah.
When I was a consultant, I needed to do it. I only started meditating consistently. Was it the beginning of a couple of years ago? I couldn't pay attention for long enough. My brain was like so distracted. And then I just started building it up slowly. And it's got to be certain types of meditations. But yeah, now it's every morning, every night. Unless I've been out and I'm a bit pissed, then I won't do it. But
this is the thing.
I write in the journal every night.
Yeah, being into this stuff doesn't mean you need to be a clean living, flip-flop, tree hugging.
Unfortunately, that's I think one day I will. I really like admire like Kim, like your sobriety stuff, because I know one day I'll do it. Just got this feeling, but yeah, you know when you feel like I'm not ready for it yet. I've had a period of time where I tried something similar and I've gone back into it. But I don't drink for weeks, and I don't drink in the house for weeks. But when I go out, I mean, Kim, you follow me on Instagram, don't you? When I'm out, I'm out. So I go to a rave.
She's out,
and I'm out. Yeah. And I have fun. And I love it. It's not like I'm like regretting loads of stuff the next day, not all the time, but one day I will go teetotal.
One day you'll just go, do you know what, that part of my life was like, I've got some of the best stories, and I've got some of the worst stories, and it gets to a point where you go, actually, is it serving me anymore? Is it getting me to where I want to be? And if the answer's no, what are you doing it for?
Why do it?
If you can live, if it doesn't impact your life and it doesn't impact your mental state and stuff like that, crack on. But for me, if I do it, it's just not worth it for me. So it's like, do I want a good time? And yes, it is a good time for 1 or 2 hours. But let's be honest, I'm talking to people I don't even like. I'm buying people I don't even know drinks. And then the next day when I'm hating myself and I can't even string a sentence together, who's there? No one. So for me, it's just like, I'm not one of these people. Like, if I could drink like a normal person, I'd still be out there doing it. But like, it's the all or nothing with me. You know, if I'm out,
I'm an all or nothing person. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Sorry, bum hole in my face. If I'm out, and I will drink you under the table, and I will still then invite you all back to my house. It's just like there's no off switch.
This is me.
There's just no off switch. Actually, let's not even start, because it's not the 5 a.m. drink that's the problem. It's the 6 p.m. one. If I don't have that, none of that happens.
So this annoys my family and friends, and you probably get this, right, Kim? Where like I'll go. So I went to my mum's friends the other night because some family were there to say hi, and it's like, have a drink. No, don't want a drink, thanks. Just have a glass of water. I literally had to beg for a glass of water. Don't be boring. Have a glass of champagne. I said, look, I'll be honest with you all. I only drink to get pissed. I don't want a glass of champagne. It's a waste. Can I just have a glass of water? Like,
but it's funny, isn't it? Because you like, and
they can't let it go.
This is what I say to people, right? And I'm not going down the like, now suddenly I'm sober and I hate alcohol. It's not the case at all. But alcohol is a drug. If somebody says, I don't want to have a drink, would you say to them, let's flip it on its head, go on, just have a shot of heroin, just one? You would never ever say that.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's, you know, you wouldn't say just have a line, just get that one. But like, if someone says no, just fucking take it for what it is.
I know,
and that's it.
And I get it with food as well. So and this really pisses me off. So I track my food, I track my macros. I'm not on a diet, right? I calorie count, but I eat a lot of calories a day. I do it for fitness purposes, for fuel, because food is fuel for your body. And if I don't know, pop around a friend's for a cup of coffee or something. Do you want a biscuit or do you want cake? So it's always shit food. And I'm like, no, I'm okay, thank you. And it's like, why aren't you eating? Oh, let me guess, you're worried about getting fat. And I hate it. It's like, no, I'm actually trying to be healthy. I've got all my meals planned for the day. I eat a lot of food every day. I'm not skin and bones. I'm muscly. Just leave me alone.
And also, I
just don't want to eat cake.
Yeah, and sometimes I just don't want a fucking biscuit. Like, what? I don't get it. I just don't want
it. If I want chocolate, I'll eat 3 bars. I'll inhale them. But it's not very often I want chocolate. So if I say no, it's because I don't want it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Yeah, and I wouldn't say to them like, right, come to the gym with me. No, I don't want to. No, you got to come. You got to come down. I'm making you come. What? I'd just be like, all right, I'll go on my own. I wouldn't invite them in the first place, but do you know what I mean? But I know they won't want to come, but it's just, honestly, I feel like I have to justify why I eat the way I eat. And I was doing it the same night. Like in the end, it annoys me because then, you know, sometimes I'm in a room with people that are moaning about maybe their weight or they want to be healthier. And I'm like, you just offered me a glass of champagne and about 10 Welsh cakes. So, and you were having to go at me. Like, I'm living a healthy lifestyle. Like, maybe it's lifestyle stuff, isn't it? And look, there's no right or wrong. Everyone has got their choice of lifestyle. But I feel like sometimes if you pick a healthier lifestyle, you are attacked sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's almost, especially as a woman, it's like, oh, you're trying to be skinny. I don't want to be skinny. That's my worst nightmare. Like, absolutely not. But people.
But isn't it weird that we look at food? If you eat whole foods and healthy foods, normal foods, if that's considered a diet. We've become so accustomed to eating shit that when you eat properly, it's a diet. No, I'm just eating what I should be eating.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Like, why are we not looking at you eating all of that crap going, there must be, you're unwell. We don't, do we?
Yeah.
It's just weird. Weird.
I didn't think of it like that before, actually. We're just eating normally.
Yeah, I'm just eating. Yeah. I'm just eating something that's been grown. And, oh, you mean you don't want to eat a hot dog that's basically ear rolls and arseholes? What's wrong with it? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
On that note, we need to draw this to a close. That hour's gone so quick.
That has gone so fast.
Do you know, I've loved this because we've done the professional stuff and then we've just got into the, like, just who we are really.
Anything.
Which is brilliant. And this is the thing. This is why we get on, because I know, Kate, like you bring all of this into what you do. So people that want to get a taste of it, they want to work with you, they want to pick up with you after it, where are we going to direct them?
I'm on LinkedIn like every day. So you can get me on LinkedIn. I've got my business Instagram, which I'm on all the time as well, which is just Diary of a Recruitment Coach. Yeah, they're probably. I've got a YouTube channel, so you can watch me on there. But if you want to like actually speak to me, LinkedIn and Instagram, I would say, is probably the two.
Amazing. We'll make sure we get that added in. Kate, thank you so much for your time. We're gonna
very quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry, very quickly. I may have looked distracted during some part of that because I was actually doing one of those tests that you were talking about. And it was really, really long, but I thought, no, I'm committed. I want to find out what I am. Got to the end, it asked me to input my credit card details. So I don't even know what I am, so it's a waste of time.
Well, you can, listen, if you want to do it, I'm an accredited disc trainer, so you can do it through me.
Let's do it. I'll do it through you.
We'll sort you out, don't worry. We'll sort you out. That was
an
anticlimax. I thought you were going to say what you were then.
Imagine my thoughts and feelings.
There you go. We'll get it done this week if we can.
Yeah.
Kate's got time to sort it. And then we'll have a big announcement next Thursday instead. How about that?
Yeah.
Amazing. Kate, thanks for joining us. Stay on as long as the stream, because I got to talk to you about someone around epigenetics.
Epigenetics.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope you found it interesting, useful, educational, entertaining. And we will see you next Thursday on the Green Umbrella Live Lunch. Bye for now.